All right, welcome to the show. I'm very excited about the guest that I have here today. I told you guys that I was going to do this. I reached out to him and he said yes. I have my own personal fitness coach. I have talked about this journey for the last, I think, 6 to 8 months about how I've been able to go from 17% body fat to 10% body fat. And it is all to do with Coach Alan Dyck. And I've got him here on the show today. And quite frankly, I've asked him and he said, it's okay. We're going to go through the entire process of how basically you can do it too. So Coach Alan, thank you so freaking much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've been able to do a bunch of these in the last little while, and everybody just seems so energized. I like doing this stuff.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure. So just a real quick introduction. Coach Alan, you are a health and wellness coach. You're a personal trainer. You're a bodybuilding competitor, 23 plus years of experience, and you lost 120 pounds in 2.5 months?
Yeah, I was 21 years old and had my aha moment. Couldn't tie on my slip-on shoes. Go figure. And you know what? That was my turning point, or that was my lowest low, and say, hey, I can't live like this anymore. What am I going to do? And then I was like, off to the races. 120 pounds in 2.5 months. And I was like, you know what? Let me help as many people as possible feel like they're supposed to.
I love it. I love it. Giving back. That's the way it's supposed to be. So yeah. I like to get right into it in these shows. I only like to do an hour-long podcast. We don't even go that long. So I want to get right into it. Coach Alan, what is it that you can do? What is the process of someone, forget losing 120 pounds because that's crazy. What is the process that I basically took to go from 17% body fat, dude, stuck at like 175 pounds? And now, Alan, I'm 105 freaking pounds and I'm having trouble gaining weight. What's the process? How is somebody able to cut down that much? And really, honestly, I've created the body of my dreams, man. So it's pretty awesome. What's the process?
Initially, when I take somebody on, I like to let them just talk because I want to understand where they want to go. And because I've had so many people that I've sat in front of and listened to, I have a general idea for the most amount what people are actually looking for. So I put together something that for every single guy, yourself included, has a six-pack. For every single woman out there, they feel comfortable in their own skin. That is a big deal for me because a lot of women, my ex-wife, so many people that I know have relied so much on the clothing they're wearing to get them to feel like they're supposed to, as opposed to feeling good in their own skin. And so that for me is a huge factor. And for guys, I want them to feel comfortable to lift off their shirt and be like, this is me. I did this. And so a long time ago, I built a system and I haven't derailed from that system. I'm not the kind of person that looks up YouTube, looks up this, looks up new fads. I don't care. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. So when I can talk to somebody, it's not that I come off as arrogant. I just know that when you follow what I'm going to tell you to do, we're going to kick ass and you're going to feel and look absolutely amazing. Process for me is I've got every single person I've ever taken on, and I don't care how much you weigh, 100 pounds to 600 pounds. You get on my 16-day cleanse. And Cole's notes about the 16-day cleanse, it's only breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what it does, it just kind of resets your body from the inside out and lets you get rid of all this extra water weight and bloating. So everything after is what we've got to take care of. It's really cool too because the average weight loss on it is, 15, 16, 17 pounds. And so it's a huge motivator for that individual to be like, holy shit, I just came out of the gate. What else can he do? Or where else can we go? And so, so many people are so stressed out with the foods we're eating and what they're doing in life that when you do my cleanse, it just kind of gets rid of all that. And it's so cool to watch the transition from, this is where I was, this is where I am, and holy shit, it's only been 16 days.
Yeah, so, I don't ever want to eat a grapefruit again. I'm not going to lie. I had so much grapefruit on that cleanse. What I really love about the 16-day cleanse is basically there's like one rule and one rule only. If you screw up, if you mess up, you got to start over again. It took 100%. Me 3 tries.
Yes. And it's crazy how when I had somebody do it and they were on like day 13 and I just laughed. I was like, hey buddy, either you're going to go all in or you're not.
Yeah.
So it worked. It's worked so well. And like I said, I've had thousands and thousands of people do it. And it's a game changer. And it's right off the start.
Honestly, it's the only thing that I'm 41 years old now. And it's the first time I have tried diets. I have tried exercise. I have tried running marathons. I have tried running 20, 30, 40 miles a week and all of these things. And nothing like that cleanse and nothing like the program that you've put me on has had any kind of significant impact like I have now. Like it's literally, and I like it too, because tell us a little bit about your past, Alan. Tell us a little bit about sort of where you're from. Not just 120-pound weight loss, but just like you're a bodybuilding competitor too.
Yes, I've been competing for about 21 years now. And, after I lost all that initial weight, I just felt so much better that it was just my mission in life to make people feel like that and have something to compare it to. Because when they don't have anything to compare it to, they think that's normal. And, it took me a while to understand what kind of foods to put together, because I didn't necessarily do it the right way. I ate chicken and tomatoes for 2.5 months and I did a shit ton of cardio. Now, that's not a sustainable way of life, but that's what I did. And, I developed a system where it's like, this can be sustainable and everybody can do it. And so once I did that, I was like, holy shit, I really like this fitness thing. And met a guy, his name is Ross Duncan. He was like 55 at the time, looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, holy shit, what do you do? And then I just picked his brain and we ended up becoming really, really good friends. And I learned so much from that guy. And it was just ridiculous. And once I started off that, I never looked back. And, I've done probably 12 shows in my life. I've came first in Canada the last 4 years in a row. And then, second to my pro card 2 years in a row. So, it was right there. And I was so excited. But, this year I'm taking a year off because work has definitely gone in a different direction. And so maybe next year I'll pick that back up again.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And like, I've noticed that the best advice that you can get is from the bodybuilders. Am I right? Like, I feel like that's the place to go, because it's not just because they're big, they're jacked or whatever. It's just because obviously they also understand the science behind, like when I'm going through my workouts, Alan, I'm thinking of you and I'm like, oh, that exercise makes specific sense, and I don't deviate from anything that you do, because I do feel like every single repetition and every single exercise and every single sort of superset, I can also tell, dude. I could tell. Tell me, I'm going to ask you, I guess, like a question. Like today, I did leg extensions and then I had to do planks. Do you do that because I get an extra workout on my quads while I'm doing the planks?
Fucking right. If we're going to do it, we have to take it to the next level, because you're going to be on a different level of in shape. It's going to be a different level of, holy shit, I was able to do this. I was able to perform this, and then utilize muscles that you never even thought fucking existed. And that's the cool thing, because I don't like to rely a lot on cardio. I don't want somebody to sit there for an hour on a fucking treadmill or an elliptical and go nowhere. If we can make your workout just as hard, just as intense, and keep that heart rate up, we're killing two birds with one stone. And realistically, unless I'm telling one of my guys, I told one of my guys the other day, he's 65. I was like, hey, for your cardio this weekend, go have some sex. And he was like, he's just pumped. I was like, you know what? Make it fun. Make it fun. Like it's crazy how, when you put in the time and you get to a certain spot, you look amazing, you feel amazing, and you don't have to sit on that hamster wheel going over and over and you go nowhere. I see so many people that I've seen in the gym for years and years and years, and they just tend to look the same, but they're doing the same thing day in and day out. And we all know who those people are. If you have the ability and the time to get there, why not do the right thing when you're there? So then it just treats your body on a different level.
Well, what about the ability and the time? I'm not going to lie. It takes me an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time. Like how do people make the time? I mean, I guess I can answer my own question. It's just fucking make the time. But I mean, I don't know. What do you tell people who are just, especially now, I guarantee you've got a lot of entrepreneurial clients that they're all super busy, even though they should actually listen to Dan and try to buy back their time. So as I'm asking the question, I feel like as I'm asking, I'm answering it myself. But I don't know. What are some of the things that you tell people to make sure, or to just understand the importance and to find the time?
I say this almost every single day. If you break down, the system breaks down. It is not a selfish thing to say that I am number one. I've got kids. We're all busy. Like you said, these high-level entrepreneurs that I'm training and this and that, we all have crazy lives regardless of what we're doing. But what I do is I make sure that every single morning I get my stuff done, so then I'm ready to go and I'm not left scrambling. If you are, that's when everything tends to go to shit and everything works downhill. So when your kids see that, when your friends see that, when that you're taking care of yourself, it's like you're charged on a different level, and it's beyond addicting, ridiculous, and you're your own walking billboard. So it's not a big deal to just say, hey, I'm going to spend a couple minutes on me, because it benefits me that much greater on this side.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm a firm believer that you don't inspire others so much sometimes through talking and motivation. You can inspire people just simply through your actions. And
Actions
my
is louder than words, dude. Like any day of the week.
my 5:30 a.m. wake up call, and then now it's summertime, so we're going to the pool every day, and they're all just like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And it's like, that's right.
And it's so awesome because every single one of us have it in us. But it's just, I say this with a grain of salt. Let's just take the sleeping bag off so you can see what you look like underneath, and then we can fix it if we need to. But at the same time, now you're just so much more comfortable, confident, and you can just take on the world at a different light.
Yeah. So what do you say to people that just say, "Well, I'm not built like that," or "I'm just naturally chubby," or stuff like that? Because that used to be me. I thought, well, this is probably the best I'm gonna look. And I remember I sent the message to it was, if who knows if it was Dan or somebody else, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh well, I think I was 21% body fat," and I was like, "Well, I really just want to get down to like 17." And then the response was, "Well, what about 10?" And I'm like, that's impossible. Like, that wouldn't even be able to happen. And it is possible. What do you say to people who just think that, well, that's just not my body type. I can never look like that?
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I don't care. It's like they've heard so many things from so many different people or magazines or TikTok or some form of social media that it's impossible or this or that. Nothing's impossible. You just have to have the right person to put you into the right mode and understand that that person's going to get you where you need to be. Half the time personal trainers talk as if they're like fucking car salesmen because a lot of people just don't know. We're a dime a dozen. There's so many of us out there. And Dan told me a while ago, because when I was getting back on Instagram, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the same fucking video because there's been a video of that done 1,000 times. But he's like, what you're not understanding is that video is by you. It's not by anybody else. It's by you. And I was
Exactly.
like, no shit. So, once people start to put their trust, their faith in you, and then they see those results that happen instantly, they're like, oh, fuck, maybe that 10% is, achievable. Maybe that 7% is. And that's where a lot of myself included and guys that I train get the whole, are you on TRT? What are you taking? Because this is not normal. You're right, it's not normal because most of the fucking population don't do what they're actually supposed to. And they don't get to where they could because of all these little things that I apply, we implement, and then you just look like a fucking Greek god.
Yeah. So what are the things that you're supposed to do? What is it? What can you break it
Number
down?
one is like you put gas in your vehicle. Why wouldn't you be any different? Once you put the right fuel in the body for yourself, you propel yourself on a drastic level. You are what you eat, however corny that sounds. Understanding what to eat, when to eat, why to eat, and how to consume the foods within a time period is a game changer. So many people don't realize they're supposed to start off with breakfast because it kickstarts your metabolism. Anything after 60 minutes, and now you start burning muscle as an energy source. Okay, well, now I'm already going backwards. So for those people that start the day off with fucking coffee, they don't realize how much muscle they're actually utilizing when you only put on 4 to 5 pounds of muscle in a calendar year. And that's when you fucking give her. So now they're already going at a deficit before they're even out of the gate. And so, understanding a little of those things and understanding that, it's you have to eat a specific amount of calories, male or female, because if you don't, the body's going to get stressed out. Body gets stressed out. We all know that person eats once a day. They can still be overweight because the body doesn't understand when it's going to get food again. So it just retains everything, saying, fuck you. I don't know when you're going to feed me again, so I can't relax. If I can't relax, now I'm stressed out. I ain't getting results. Maybe feed me more and give me the right food. But I always tell people, err on the side of eating more calories than under eating, because we want to make sure to get those calories in.
So are we throwing away the intermittent fasting fad? Is that like that's all
I fucking
bullshit?
hate. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I get there's people out there that have gotten results with it. I totally understand. But I've been doing for 23 years, 6 to 6, 6 to 6. If you get up and your first meal is at 6 o'clock and your last meal is at 6 o'clock, you give your body 12 hours to fast.
Yeah.
The body burns carbs, fats, and protein. That is exactly the order that it burns. So if we go to bed with very little or minimal carbs in the system, guess what? While we're sleeping, we're burning fat as an energy source. You want to go to bed kind of being like, fuck, I could eat. That's because those carbs are done now. And so that's where you get those results that happen on a drastic level. When you're consuming anything after 6 o'clock or 6:30, the body naturally wants to shut down, wants to slow down because it's winding down now. It's time to go to sleep. And so it doesn't burn off the calories you're consuming. And you could consume, chicken or steak, protein, not the end of the world, but the body still needs to burn it off somehow. And so once you realize this happens, you drop so much weight so fast that people are like, okay, well, what are you taking? Well, you're pressing the dick, so.
So yeah, I've noticed that definitely I definitely notice my carb load in the morning, and then I notice the higher protein and just all protein for dinner pretty much. And then, yeah, then there's got some fat in lunch. I definitely noticed that trend. It took me like 6 months to understand, oh, okay, this is what's happening here. I do also like the fact that, I mean, it's kind of a one size fits all program. Am I wrong? Or I don't know. I don't know what the women get, or I don't know what some of the other guys get. So I could be totally wrong in asking that question, but it feels like it 16-day cleanse and kind of same macro. I don't know. You tell me.
So how I run it is, I have X amount of groups that I'm running, kind of like what I do with Dan. Him and I kind of had that off, which by the way, I'm going to be taking that on 100%, and it's just going to be me going forward. Dan's now,
Nice.
I just got it from him. He's like, you know what, you've earned it. Let's go. Show me show me what you're made of. And so I spent the last 6 months in no sleep building my own program, because these groups that I do run, Martell one included, it's got, for women, it's got, 1,450 or 1,500 calories. And then for guys, it's got the 1,850. Well, it's been working so well that I thought I would put my actual personal training into it and pretend that I'm going to take these people as far down as I possibly can. So with my new one, what I've done is, yes, you've got your first initial cleanse. Yes, you've got your next set of calories, male or female, but then there's another one and another one and another one. And it brings you all the way down to a photo shoot where it's like, holy shit, you're going all the way down. And that's what I do with my high level clients that I train one-on-one online is, what, there isn't one size fits all, because there are little changes that need to be made. On mine, though, I also went ahead and created it so it's blood type. It's all blood type based. So when you see your food, you're like, fuck, I'm all, boom, right there. That's what I'm supposed to be consuming. Because that also is something I've been running for 23 years, and that is a game changer on its own. Not a huge ton of science on it. All I know is that it has worked for me and every single one of my clients when they go and get their blood work done, and their blood work comes back fucking mint. Doctor's like, what are you doing? Well, this is what I'm doing. And my thing is, I've had thousands and thousands of people get their DEXA, get their blood work back, and the same thing comes back. I ain't going to fix that regardless of who tells me what, because that's all I care about. As long as you feel 1,000 times better, you look 1,000 times better, and you've got energy like a fucking racehorse, here we go.
Well,
So
sign me up.
well, fuck, man, my group it's doing so well. It's been going on for 4 weeks now. And same thing, when you transition into, holy shit, I'm ripped, and now we go the other direction, it's got all these different programs for surplus of calories, this and this and this, and it's just endless. So I said it took me 6 months to build it, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to appeal to everyone, not just one demographic.
Well, sign me up, first of all. I'm in for that. So all day. I also love how you don't really believe in supplements. Like obviously protein powders, we have to take, I mean, I'm taking about just over 200 grams of protein every day, which is great for the weight loss too, because the muscle stays on. But I like how you don't really believe in supplements. I love how you believe in the all natural, like just straight up sugars, like in the morning. Like it is true, man. I have that rice cake with peanut butter and jelly. I put that maple syrup into my oatmeal, and it is like a fucking shot. It's like a pre-workout, and I've got all the energy that I need, and it's all natural. How does it that everyone has been telling us for years that all of that sugar and jelly is just not good for you, but you find a way to make it seem like it's actually perfect, exactly what your body needs?
So many people are all or nothing. So it's like, yes, can we eat healthy? For sure. But then all the extra things that people tend to put in their body with, junk, unhealthy nutrition, this and that, candies, cookies, pies, like all that stuff that I used to love when I was sitting at 320 pounds, that, don't get me wrong, tastes fucking amazing, but obviously made me feel like shit. They can do that. They end up doing those plus some of these other things, and then it's just a sugar overload. So it's understanding how much can my body take to go in the direction that I want to go safely, effectively, and get there as fast as possible. And I love to educate. So my big thing is, even with my new group, I am on it once a week for an hour, and I fucking, no call is ever the same. Every single call I talk about something different, because if I can educate the shit out of people to understand why this is all working for them, to be able to make an educated decision, I am winning. When they understand that, okay, tablespoon of maple syrup is 50 calories, but it's going to give you this kind of energy. It's going to be burned off in this. Or, hey, I am lactose intolerant, but if I'm consuming rice, maple syrup, raisins, cinnamon, and I throw a little bit of whipping cream on there, it's not a sugar high. It's a sugar lift, but then all of a sudden it's a steady state because the cream coats to release slowly into the body. Those are the things I like to teach. Or could you just have a fucking chocolate bar and go to the gym? For sure. But now you've got an insulin high, insulin low, and then you feel like shit. So there's a reason why, there's a method to my madness, and I want every single person I help to understand why it's working.
What do you do for people who are vegans or they don't want to eat meat or I don't know because I mean the diet is pretty it's there, it's laid out. You have a small group of things that you could eat and you just go crazy on all of that, but there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of chicken, there's a lot of there's what was there in the mornings there's I don't know, what do you do about people who have specialized diets like and they're just like, no, I'm not going to eat that or this and that. Like do you just tell them no, you have to eat this, or do you kind of like
No, you cannot be vegan. Now, don't get me started on like keto and this and that, but I actually, with my group, built it to suit as well because I have tons of vegans that I've trained. Do I, do I like training them as much as somebody that is, it's a
I don't
lot
like them as
easier when
much.
you transition differently because I've had so many vegans that they're diehard and, all in, which is great. And it's crazy how many other have just said, you know what, maybe can I just try this a little bit? And then their energy is just that much different. So I created my program to be able to accommodate them as well. And I say them, but just like vegans, vegetarians, this and that, because we can get any goal we want. Once again, you just have to understand what to eat, why to eat, and how it's working for your body. Because when you are a vegan, it's harder for you to get certain types of protein. It's hard for you to get, certain types of carbs because the carbs you're trying to get or the protein they're trying to get is from the carbs like beans and this and that but you're going to have to consume so much of it now it's going to be overloaded for carbs just because you're trying to pull that protein. So I've made concessions on mine how to make it super fucking easy and simple.
Well, in order to simplify things so people could understand what we're talking about without actually just me showing them what my diet looks like, and I don't want to get you upset or about keto or anything like that, what would you most closely compare it to? And I ask you on a personal level too, because I tagged you on a couple stories the other day where I've got a meal plan now that gets sent to me, which you'll
Yeah.
probably fucking hate because it's definitely got salt in it and stuff like that. But first of all, that could be a follow-up question. How do I avoid that? But what would you close compare it to? Because I try to order online, and of course, it's like you've got the normal, or you've got the keto, or you've got the paleo, or you've got and I'm just like, I'm not really any of those. What would you compare it to, or a mix of which one, so that people can sort of understand what the diet's all about? Or not the diet. It's not a diet. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah,
not
I
a
was just
diet.
going to interrupt you. Okay. So it's the lifestyle change in the direction I'm going, but
I think whole 30 is the closest
I
thing.
was going to say something similar to that. Yeah, because everything is based on whole foods and it's the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, and the right amount of fat. It's
And
when
it's
the
real
brain
food.
needs carbs, 100%. And you know what? Everything for me is whole. You have to understand what you're consuming and no artificial and no preservative. When you draw too many carbs from the system, it now causes all these different issues. You can't think properly. You can't this. It's brain food. So making sure to understand you're supposed to have a little bit of everything because everything in moderation. And because I build it based on your blood type, it's very, very different because blood type O, blood type B, meat, they love that kind of stuff. Blood type A, very different. They won't consume as much meat, but they'll still get the same kind of results, but they're going to throw in carbs. And so it's understanding each individual person. So, what would I say, Whole30 or something as nutritional as possible, as opposed to saying, what, it's the Atkins or it's the keto, it's this, where you're taking something and drawing it right out of the system. Like with keto, I get very frustrated because even though people are trying to stay in ketosis and eat less than 200 calories of carbs a day, you shouldn't be able to eat bacon and cheese whiz and all these different
Right.
things to get
Right.
those extra calories because come on, buddy, like they're horrible for you. So
I
understanding what you're putting in your body on all levels is very important.
I realize the cheese now. I eat cheese and it doesn't sit well.
It's crazy. And just, I was telling people I haven't had a dairy unless it's pure liquid whipping cream in my plan for 23 years. And they just took it off the Canadian Food Guide. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago because it was never meant to be there anyway.
Huh.
You get more calcium from specific vegetables than you do actual milk. And so once people understand that and realize that, dairy causes inflammation, irritation, and rash in the body has a hard time digesting that properly. You take just that alone out, holy fuck, you feel 1,000 times better.
Why no salt?
So I don't do no salt only for a very short period of time. I love my results to happen now. I feel if we continue wasting time, then the person will get upset, distracted. They'll be like, fuck, this is taking forever. So my big thing is I want 3 to 4 months. We're going to get your body the way you want. We're going to tweak it and we're going to go back up. So when I take out salt from a plan, basically it allows that process to happen 1,000 times better, 1,000 times faster. When you go into a surplus and then you start actually going the other direction, I implement um, Oh, sure. I implement basically specific types of salt, like Himalayan pink sea salt, that kind of stuff, because it actually metabolizes carbs at a drastic rate. But I take them out initially so we can just say goodbye to all that bloating and water retention. And then I can bring it back when your body's nice and lean. When your body's nice and lean, salt will flow through your body so much faster. And then it gets absorbed at a different rate. So I don't take it out for life. I take it out for a short period of time and then I bring it back. Once again, no, sorry to elaborate on that. There's table salt, hot sauce, soy sauces. Those aren't the salts I'm talking about. It's
Right.
like not hot wings. I'm talking about stuff that we use.
Alan, can you take us back a little bit about your journey? I'd like to hear a little bit about, I mean, you keep saying 23 years, 23 years. Like, how did this all start? How did you learn all of this stuff? Like, what was the journey like to get you to where you are today and to figure all this stuff out, man? Because that's, a lot of stuff.
It took, it took a lot of time. I wanted to always believe that I don't know everything. And so, we all have a friend like that. And it's, back in the day, like I said, I was morbidly obese. I loved Reese's Pieces, Buttercups, any form of fast food, and it was just my life. That's what I was used to. And I worked at a place called Ruth Chris Steakhouse, and we had two floors. It was kind of like a fine dining steakhouse, and we had two floors, and I would dread having to work on the bottom floor because of the fact that I had to go get my drinks at the top floor and come back down. And so when you're sitting at 325 pounds and you're going up two flights of stairs and then you're coming down and you have to sit and collect yourself for fucking 2 or 3 minutes because you're gassed, I think for a lot of people that would, hit a nerve. And, it still wasn't my, oh, okay, my aha moment. Like I need to make a change. It was that, when I can't put on my shoes, I feel I should probably go in a different direction because I don't know where I'm going to be in the next, 5 years if I keep this up. And, I'm not saying it was the healthiest way, but I knew chicken was healthy. I knew tomatoes were healthy. I knew fucking cardio was important. And I just did that for 2.5 months. I ate chicken, tomatoes, cardio. And then when I went to the gym, which was probably the hardest thing for anybody that's that overweight, just to feel like everybody's looking at them, even though they're probably fucking not. But that's what I would think in my head. And just going through the circuits over and over and over again. And 2.5 months, I was able to drop that 125. And I was like, well, fuck, this isn't sustainable. I'm not going to be like, hey guys, I'm going to make you a program. It's got two fucking things on it. So I went and met a guy named Ross Duncan. And that was huge for me. Like I said, he was 55 years old. He was an ex-doctor and had drank less than 5 times on one hand. And he looked absolutely amazing. And so he had just seen me kind of come off my journey and he started talking to me and started teaching me blood type and all this different stuff. And I just was soaking it up because this was my new life. I loved it. I wanted to be all in. And I wanted to learn the science behind it. So then when I went to apply it, I would feel comfortable giving it to somebody because I've already put myself through it. I understood it. And therefore, when someone has a question, I feel confident giving them that answer because I know it's going to work. And over the years, I basically just put all this information together, plus a couple of my things that I've, tried, tested, and proven, because every single thing that I've given to anybody, I've done first. I would be mortified that if I gave somebody something and it didn't work. That's the biggest thing for me. And that's where, I do not believe in cookie cutter plans because everybody is different. No one's the one same. If I would say, hey man, everybody's going to have the same plan for the rest of your life, you know how much easier our life would be? And that's, where AI is coming, it's kind of tough, but at the same time, you don't have that accountability to somebody that actually can go ahead and have a conversation with you and say, this is what we're going to do. And so that's very important for me because I take my job so seriously and I want the same thing for every single person that I take on because I never want them to feel like how I did back in the day.
And so you're completely self-taught.
Yes. I don't fucking sit on YouTube. I don't do this. I don't do that. Like when we started Instagram just a little while ago, like I said, I was at fucking nothing and it's blown up and then started TikTok and that's blown up and then we're going to start YouTube in a week. And so, I just wanted to make sure all my T's were crossed and I's were dotted and made sure I was going in the right direction with a good amount of momentum.
Tell me about mindset, because one of the things that I've liked to teach about, and obviously we learn, you and I learn, I'm sure so much from Dan as well, is obviously having the proper mindset. What's the mindset like, or has to be like for someone to lose 120 pounds, for someone to finally make that decision in their life to get that six pack? What? And not think that it's like something that they're doing that it's just so like superficial and stuff like that. Sometimes that creeps into me too. It's like, well, I don't really care but I do like it. So it's like this weird, I don't know. I really want to know, like, so what's the most disciplined sort of like mindset that's really helped you the most in really understanding how people are able to make this transformation?
For me, I I always looked up to like The Rock and Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and all those guys. And they were just, I always had posters on the wall and this and that. And I looked up to them as a huge motivational tool. So when I started my journey, I took a picture of myself at that time and I put it somewhere where I could see it all the time. And I knew that I never wanted to be that person again. And so every single day that went by, it's tough because you always keep looking through the same eyes. So I have a hard time. I've got a 9 and a 12-year-old. And up until 2 or 3 months ago, obviously Dan has helped me kind of broaden my horizon and get out of my comfort zone. But up until 2 or 3 months ago, I would never take my shirt off. I wouldn't do it because
What?
no, and this is where people don't know this kind of stuff. So in Kelowna, where we're from, where Dan is, I've taken my shirt off maybe 5 times in 23 years. When I did bodybuilding shows, I would get sick behind stage before I'd have to take my shirt off to go on stage. I still had that mental block because I was always looking through the same eyes at this fucking fat kid that I used to be. And that was the hardest thing for me. And so being able to get outside of my comfort zone, and Dan helped me with that, and has allowed me to relay so much more information on a positive level to so many of my clients, because you work your ass off, you should be able to enjoy it. It's not vain. It's I do the time, I put in the work, I want to be the top 1%, and I want to be a walking billboard for everybody else to say, hey, how the fuck can I do this? Because you're clearly doing the thing. And so it was very hard for me to get out of my comfort zone. But since I met Dan a year and a half ago, it's changed my life on a different level. And the reason why I brought my kids up is because my son, I didn't want him to see his dad wearing a shirt all the time and then get some form of a complex thinking it has to be this way or whatever. So when we went to Mexico, it was the first time on any trip ever where I had my shirt off more than I had on. And it was just so cool to have that confidence because it was so hard for me. And so relaying that information to other people saying, you got to get outside of your comfort zone to
Yep.
have a new high where there's no ceiling.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that I've been learning more and more and more, and I've even seen it in some of the content that you put out and Dan puts out, is having the uncomfortable conversations with others, having the uncomfortable conversations with yourself, and really being uncomfortable is really what separates, to me. I've been learning the truly, truly great and most successful from everybody else is being able, because everybody wants to just, be liked, and everybody else wants to just not really step over that line. And, sometimes you just got to do it. You got to get uncomfortable in order to, and I could honestly talk about just even stuff within my own family, in-laws, mother-in-laws and stuff like that, where I've had to have the tough conversation where like, yo, we need boundaries set here. And for years I was afraid to do that. And as
Yeah.
soon as I had it, dude, I felt so, and I'm literally taking you into my personal life right now. I had that super, I mean, I was so like heart starts racing. I don't know how she's going to react. Had the uncomfortable conversation. Not only have we finally established boundaries, but me and her are closer than ever before. It's just crazy how you got to just break through that.
100%, dude. And sky's the limit. And I thought last year I was doing well. I was doing great. Everything was fine. I had my own studio. I was happy with my clients, this and that. And then you have somebody that makes you think outside the box and just kind of look down this direction. And it's insane what you're capable of doing. But, having somebody, once again, that's tried, tested, and proven it along with doing the thing is so much easier for you to say, okay, I want to do that too. And so it was a big deal to have all these new people in my life that are just sky's the limit. Like I'm able to help so many people.
Most of the audience is entrepreneurs, business owners, stuff like that. How can we relate? Why is it important to have a six pack and be an entrepreneur?
Dude, I did not realize that apparently
And
there are
because
not many.
you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you have your own thing going as well. So let's make that clear. I want the audience to understand that you're just not just some amazing trainer. Like you have your own business as well. So sorry, back to the question. Why is it important for an entrepreneur to have a six pack?
Because you know what? I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. People take people seriously on a different level. So not only does it better your business, your bank account, your bedroom, all these different things when you feel better and you look the part, but you can 10x everything based on the energy that's coming out of your ass. And it's so cool and upsetting because you're right. The world is a horrible place in a sense that people take people seriously on a different level. You know, if you're in shape, they're going to treat you different, which is, it's horrible, but it is what it is. And so I feel that the more in shape I can be for longer will allow me to stand out that much more and be able to do the things that I want with my kids as long as I possibly can. I don't want to be that dad that's sitting there at 60 being like, fuck, my knees are done. I'm overweight. I drink beer every day. I'm this, I'm that. No, I want to be that fun loving dad that's like energized as fuck. And, you know, here we go. And so even take Dan as an example. He was in good shape before I started with him. He was 222 pounds. He had ran ultra marathons, this and that. But it was just, he was losing that. He just didn't have that last little bit. So when we took him on, I took him on in 2.5 months, we went from 122 or whatever, all the way down to 195 pounds, got rid of all that stuff. And now he's like, holy shit, like the energy he has is a very different fucking thing now. And it's a different beast. And the confidence level he had, he was already very confident, but it's now just amplified his game to another level. And he was already there. And so I feel that is a huge, huge important factor when it comes to kicking ass. The better shape you are, your arms look fucking insane right now, just in this fucking video. There you go, see? But the confidence, you understand the confidence to be able to do that in public, and right now is huge.
But fuck that. It's true though. Like when you see somebody in shape and you see somebody that you know, or you have a conversation with them and you tell them that you get up at 5:30 in the morning and you got to get that workout in all the time, and that person could see that you're in shape, like that shows that you are disciplined, that you mean business. And then that obviously is going to carry around if that person is talking to you because they want to do business with you or they're interested in your service or product. That just shows that your product or service is most likely the real deal as well, because if you take yourself that seriously, that means you're going to take everything else around you that seriously as well. So yeah,
well,
no.
fucking for anybody that's in the fitness world, that's a huge level of respect because I know how much it takes to get there and what you have to do to do it.
Exactly. Tell me about what it takes to get there and how can we relate that to business? Again, I think you're very unique to have this conversation because you're also growing your business as well. And how can we relate the discipline, the motivation, the mindset, the dedication, all of that you need to just get in this amazing shape? How can we sort of piggyback that onto growing a business and trying to scale it and really, being a successful entrepreneur, as hard as it may be?
It starts from the second you get up in the morning. I feel
Yeah.
that, I get up, I make my bed, I this, I that. I've got my own set standards and my own non-negotiables for my house. And it starts from the second your fucking eyes open up. Creating a list, this and that, making sure that, okay, cool, I am good here because I have a problem. If anything needs to be done at home, it distracts me from what I need to do. So I make sure that everything is fucking done here. So when I leave the house, I'm 100% in wherever my feet are. And that is a big deal because they see that confidence when you're talking to them and they don't feel that you're somewhere else. So you can put yourself all in. So I just feel like setting yourself up for success on all levels, whether it's prepping your food, this, that, making sure your week is prepped out, ready to go, consistently learning all the time on how to better yourself and how to just kind of move forward. It's crazy when you apply all these little things that people might take for granted. Like there's just writing things down and putting in your schedule and just being like, holy shit, it's only 15 minutes a day for this, but it benefits you on a scale that is right now I'm seeing is to the moon. Like it's crazy what you can do. You just have to make sure that you follow those steps every single day, no matter what. And you don't let anybody get in your way. Once you have that vision and you have that idea of, okay, this is where I want to go and this is how I'm going to get there. I find working yourself backwards is way better than working towards. So it's like, I want this. Okay, I'm going to work the steps backwards on how do I accomplish that? So then it keeps me moving forward at a record pace.
So what is it? Tell me. I want to know. What's the 10-year, 50-year? What's the big, hairy, audacious goal? Come on, what do we got? Come on.
Okay, I would say in the next 5 years, I want to be, top 5 or top 10 trainer in the world, and that's my goal. I want to be able to help as many people as I possibly can, and have my name be something that people are proud to talk about. That is a big deal for me.
What distinguishes somebody the top trainer in the world?
For me, it's not necessarily a monetary value. It's not about money. It's not about this. It's just about, I just want to be known as that person that just destroys people and helps them and gets them to take their life back into their own hands. When it comes to social media, I get very frustrated because, I'm old school. I'm 43. Just to take a fucking picture or just to take a fucking video was so hard for me to do because
You've gotten better. You've gotten a lot better.
Well, fuck. Dan said, if you're not going to go all in, you're all out. And he's like, all these pictures of like The Rock and Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger on the wall. He's like, if they didn't do what they were doing, how the hell would you know what to do? And
they're all on social media, all those guys.
They're all on social media, yes. And it's like, He's like, if you don't do the thing, he's like, how are people supposed to learn from you? He's like, it's actually selfish of you not to put yourself out there, because then he's like, now who are you helping? Zero. And it's been an eye opener for me, and it's been a very hard thing for me to do. Like, once I said, taking my shirt off, getting out of that comfort zone. But now that I'm here, I love this. I love every minute of this.
I've got it. I've got it for you.
What's
The
that?
cup, the cover of Muscle Magazine, fucking shirtless with the title #1 fitness trainer on the planet.
Done.
What do you think?
When you're with the guy, I just fucking got off a jet with Dan this weekend, and it's like, he literally said, "Do you know where you're going?" And I was like, "I think I do." He's like, he's gonna be #1 in the world, and he's like, "Let's just go and do it."
Yeah, you see, I can't believe you had the audacity to tell Dan, "I think I do." He must have tore you
I was
a new
just
one.
like, yeah, no. If I had said that and he was here, he would be smacking me upside the head.
Yeah. So the real question everybody wants to know: what's Dan like in person?
He's the same. He is the exact same person. It's not the very first thing he said to me is, well, the very first thing he said to me, he's like, if you were rich, what kind of person would you be? And I said, well, I came from nothing and I had to build everything on my own. So I said, I would be the same person. He's like, good answer. And the second is always be authentic. Always be you. Don't change who you are. Don't alter how you speak. When a camera comes on, don't all of a sudden do this or that. No Dr. Jekyll, no Mr. Hyde. Be you. Because he's like, if you can be consistent, people will take you on a different level.
That's awesome.
He is
Yeah,
the exact same person.
Gary Vee says that a lot too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to add? Anything for the entrepreneur out there who's just like kind of stuck and they're not really sure and they don't think it's for them or they don't think they can do it? Like I'd like to just close off with just something just from you, from Coach Alan Dyck, so that people could trust the Dick, making sure that they could change their life and get moving in the right direction. Because before you get into it, you could think about sort of, I'll give you some time to think about it. You know, I was always stuck, man. I was just always stuck. I was stuck at that. According to my scale, I was stuck between 165 and 175. I'd get all the way down to 165, and then I'd fuck it up and I'd get up to like 172 or 169. And that 165, the 169, no matter what I did, I got stuck there. I allowed myself to cheat on weekends just because I thought that was like the good thing to do, just because I have to have fun. And then I would go all in, but then I'd gain it all back on the weekend. And I just could not find a program. I could not find a mentor, which I want to tell you, I want to thank you for being my fitness mentor and really getting me on this journey to where I could finally fucking proud. You might not be proud to take off your shirt. I am never in a shirt when I'm in my house. I will tell you that. Even my son's like, Dad, put a shirt on. I'm like, no, we're showing this off. So, you know, I was stuck there forever. And growing up, I was always the chubby kid. Then I started playing tennis. I played collegiate tennis as well. I got really, really skinny. I was in pretty decent shape. Always had a little bit of chub, but then I gained weight again. And then I started running marathons and still really like Dan, never really lost all the weight either. That didn't help. And, you know, finally for me, I don't know what it was, but I honestly, it was social media. I saw Dan's thing and I saw like his transformation. And then I got a message and I started to learn more about you. And I'm like, all right, this seems like the right decision to make. And I went all in and I'm not afraid. Don't get offended by this. Look, guys, it's not cheap. Okay. But you also have to, like, I say that by also saying that, like, it's fucking worth its weight in gold, because I just feel amazing and I've never finally gotten to this result. So I ask you again, like, what would you like to end this podcast on a message to those who are just they've been stuck and they're not sure and it's time to make a change.
You know, what I usually say on, my group is trust the process. You've put in the time to, whether you found me online or whatever. I love what I do every single second of the day. And I have made it my mission to help everybody feel like I wasn't a long time ago. And when you can make something that is so sustainable and life altering, but at the same time allows your whole family, friends, and everybody to align together. So you're not that one sitting there being like, okay, I've got to follow this program, and now I've got to lose this, or I'm losing that touch with, family dinners. My wife has to cook this, or whatever. I find it so much easier to be sustainable, to be enjoyable. And when you follow something that works, and obviously all these people can attest to it, the energy you have is different. It's crazy. You're going to be able to take back your life on a different level. And the cool thing for all my clients is that when you trust in me because I've clearly been able to show the results. You can focus so much more on other stuff and let me take care of the food and the workout, because now you can be like, fuck, what do I eat? When do I eat? Did I eat enough? It's chicken.
Yeah.
Do we have this? Do we have that? You can let go and focus on all the other things that are important because you have allowed me to do that.
I need to be told what to do. It's the easiest thing. That's I love it. It's like all laid out. I've always wanted, like, you know how everybody goes to their trainer, can you give me a diet plan? And no, but they never really actually do it. Like, it's fucking there. There's like a select few things to eat, and that's fucking it. Don't go outside of it, because that's not what I told you to do. And the workouts are there, and it's great. What comes next for me, Alan? Like, now that I'm in the rebuild stage, and I also want to attest, and I don't know if you're gonna like that I'm gonna say this, that I dropped so much that. Remember, I don't know if you remember, I had a moment through text. I sent you a message. I was not having a good few days there, personal stuff going on. And I went through a week, dude. I did not follow shit. It was pizza. It was drinking. It was not good. I do not attest to this. I do not want to tell, I do not want to say this is what you should do, but it's kudos to you and what I was able to accomplish in 6 months that I fucking cut down so much. And I guess my metabolism was so fast that even that week that I totally shit the bed, I barely gained any weight, and I still looked the same. It was crazy.
This is what I fucking love. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And it's for every single person that I train. This is where we want to get to. This is sustainable because shit happens, life happens. But when you get yourself down to a body fat percentage that is not normal for most of the population, not only do they think you're on some form of supplementation, but the fact that you now can eat that many more calories because the body is like a fucking hummingbird.
Right.
And it is crazy how much better you feel and how much more you absorb that food, because guess what? Fads are fads because they just yo-yo. This is a thing that when you lost your weight, that weight's gone. It's gone. It's not coming back. And so this is a huge thing for people listening right now is fuck diets, fuck crash this. You don't want to. If you could do something that's sustainable from the very top down and give yourself a good amount of time, 3-4 months, however long it is, to get to a comfortable spot, you ain't gaining the weight back. Therefore, I did my job. You feel 1,000 times better. And now we get to start cheating, living life.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And then you're like, just send me the photos, see how it looks. And you're like, dude, you look fucking great. And I'm like, yeah.
You just look like you got a bigger pump, but yet you're still nice and shredded. I loved it.
So what happens next now that I start building back up? There's supposed to be another cut, I guess, eventually, right? Whenever that time comes?
Yeah, usually what I tell for my guys and stuff like that, like what I would do is we're going to start coming back up. Like I said, there's always a surplus of calories. I want to make sure that we're going up for at least 4 or 5 months, because if you're only putting on, 3 to 5 pounds of muscle in an entire year or 9 months, you want to maximize that as much as possible. And what I have done now is keep people nice and lean. So even though we're gaining weight, you might put on 10 or 15 pounds, but it's going to be slow and steady wins the race. So by the time we get to where you're going to have to cut down, you're still going to look better than 95% of the population. So when you say to people, oh, fuck, I'm going to cut down now, they're going to be like, the fuck? You already look amazing. Still feeling confident enough to take your shirt off. But then guess what? We were able to fix weak points. So when we diet down again, you're never going to be the same weight. You're going to be heavier, just as lean, with more muscle.
I love it. Coach Alan, I want to thank you.
Oh, no problem, buddy. And that's to say, that's where when I built my group to be fucking the best group on the fucking planet.
Send me a message. I'll send you a message. Sign me up. But I want to thank you, not just for coming on this podcast, but I want to thank you for finally getting to that body transformation that I have been in search for probably over 20 years. So I want to thank you that I tried everything, and it was you, it was your program, it was your workouts and everything around it, and the group calls that really got me to where I am here now. And I feel fucking fantastic. And I just want to personally I want the opportunity to just personally thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome, man. And this is just the beginning. Watch what happens. Remember, we got to be a role model for our kids, and they're going to look at us like we're Superman for however long.
I always tell them you got to eat your meat so you can be strong like that and all that stuff. So, all right, Coach Alan, you can find Coach Alan Dyck, Trust the Dick, in social media, Instagram. He's got a YouTube channel coming out as well. We're going to leave all your information in the description below. And just again, thanks again for coming on. And I'll see you today. No, what's today? Today's Monday?
Today's Monday, tomorrow.
No, it's today, isn't it? Today at 3 o'clock. Tuesdays, isn't it?
Today is Monday, isn't it?
What the fuck? Is today Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Jesus.
Yes,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah, it is Monday. Yes, tomorrow. I'll see you at for
Talk to
our
you later,
group
buddy.
coaching call. Thanks so much, Coach Alan.
Welcome, man. Bye, buddy.
All right.